normal transaction, who is responsible for paying for the inspections to get done on a property. Now, if you get your offer accepted, you have a time period to do as many inspections on that property as you want. And as the buyer, you're typically responsible to pay for an inspector to come in and do the inspections. You want an HVAC, you want the sewer line, you want radon tested, you want a general inspection, the roof inspected. You should be paying the inspectors to inspect the property because you're trying to do your due diligence to see if you want to buy it or if there's repairs that need to be made before you buy the property. Now, there's a few exceptions to this. Septic is usually the big one because you have to have the tank pumped before it's inspected. So usually we'll ask the seller to fit the bill for that. The other one that I see every once in a while is going to be the furnace. A lot of times a general inspector will say, yeah, the furnace is kind of dirty, it's kind of old, you should have a licensed professional take a look at this and inspect it. And so a lot of times buyer agents will come to me as a listing agent and say, we want the seller to pay to have it inspected and serviced and any repairs made to it. I usually push back against that because it's not up to the seller to have it inspected, it's up to the buyer. The buyer really should be the one to pay for the furnace to get inspected. And then if there are issues, they can come back to the seller and ask the seller to fix those issues. If they just want it serviced, that's one thing. It's the inspection piece that the buyer really needs to be responsible for. And so typically that's where the buck stops, is going to be at the buyer. Buyers need to understand that when they're getting ready to buy a house, that this is an expense that comes out of their pocket, and it's not going to get refunded if the deal falls apart and you have to go look for another house.